You're listening to Living in Spain podcasts with David Wright.
No, just playing up Ian. Yeah.
Okay, so today we've got Ian Atkinson, and Ian's not only moved here to Spain, living in Spain, he's found work in Spain and he's doing really well. So, hi Ian, and welcome to the show. Ian, just tell us roughly, where are you from in the UK, first of all?
Well, originally I was born in just north of London and brought up in Epping, but I moved to Scotland about 25 years ago. So I've lived in Scotland for 25 years between Aberdeen and Dundee. And then we moved to Spain just under 2 years ago now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're back, yep. You're losing you there for a second.
Right, okay, it's on the split screen somewhere. So Ian's in his van at the moment. We're doing an interview live from his van. So Ian, sorry about that. So which part of Spain are you in at the moment?
I'm based in Ontinyent, just in the Valencia region, just southwest of Valencia city itself. We're in about 35, 40 minutes inland at the moment, but it's a big old city based on textiles from many years ago. But it's a lovely place, very picturesque, some beautiful scenery around us as well. We're very lucky, but quite green because we're up north of you guys. So
yeah, different climate up there. I've been up that way several times, and different. But I mean, it's warming up there at the moment, I'm sure, because it's baking hot here at the moment.
Yeah, I think today it's 36 degrees. So enjoying every single second of it.
Yeah, but I've literally just come out of the pot. I'm in cement. My workload's piling and grouting at the moment. So waiting to hopefully this week get it finished and get it filled out with water and start enjoying it. Ian, the reason I want to talk to you today is you're another success story here. You've made it work. You've taken the action. You've done your research, and I think you've found a place in it. And you've also found yourself some work, and you're doing pretty well here at the moment. And I think you've got your wife in tow helping you out as well. Is that right?
She is. Yeah, she's my partner. She works with me every day. She does an absolutely fantastic job. Spanish love it. They'd never seen a lady work on a building site before, and I think it's brilliant. But we work together every day of the week. Totally rely on her. She relies on me. Very simple. That's what we like.
Actually, I have seen a couple of other British people that work with their wives when I first came here, and I've taught my wife to help me with the bricklaying here, and she learned to mix up cement. And I tell you what, there's not many labourers as good as my wife that can mix up cement now.
No,
5 and 1, 4 and 1.
Yeah, she makes a great mix. Although I've got to say, the ratios get a bit 1 bag to 2 shovels. Is it? It's like no, it's shovels or bags. You've done a mix, But yeah, she does a great job. Absolutely fantastic. It makes my life easier as well. So. I just want to work with somebody I can trust at the end of the day.
That's right, yeah. So you're doing reform work, is that right, Ian? You're doing reconditioning the houses and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we've done in the UK for many years, just property refurbishment and development. We've never done big builds or extensions or anything. We always just concentrated on smaller reform projects. So we wanted to try and bring that experience across when we moved to Spain, but just reduce it down slightly in its scale so it can be done by the two of us and not try and take on huge projects or get too big or anything. We want to enjoy our life in Spain as well as work to be able to enjoy life in Spain. But yeah, when we first got here, we started off quite small because obviously coming into a city like Ontinyent, you don't know anybody, nobody knows you, you've got no background, you've got no recommendations to work on or anything. You really are starting from a clean slate. And that is fairly tough because we had 20 odd years of recommendation work behind us in the UK, in Scotland. And when you came here and suddenly nobody knows who you are, you really do have to start from the very bottom again and work up that list. But It worked well for us because, we started off small. We weren't trying to be greedy. We took on a variety of different jobs, from garden maintenance, pool cleaning, and, basic things like that, really, and started getting to know some people. We spent a lot of time looking up the local Facebook groups, both expats, British, and also different nationalities. Joined some of the Dutch groups as well. There's a lot of Dutch and Germans in Spain as well. So we found out some good contacts who are Dutch and German, joined some of their groups, used Google Translate massively, but, it enabled us to get into some of the jobs. And there's always people asking there for recommendations. Does anybody know somebody who does this? Does anybody know somebody who does that? And basically what we did was we just started off quite small, like I said, and just got our name out there and made sure when we did a small job, the client recommended us to other people, and then we did some jobs for them, and we gradually built up the list from there, to be honest with you. Some of the smaller maintenance jobs, we still do a few now, although we don't take any more on because, quite frankly, we haven't got time. But the smaller maintenance jobs or weekly sort of gardening jobs, some of those are developed into 5,000-10,000 euro bigger jobs as well. So, you know, it's made some very good contacts, and it is the old-fashioned networking. But yeah, I think the key was for us, definitely start small, don't be greedy, put a competitive rate and just do the job properly, and then just build up from there. But it has built up really well, and we've never had a week where we've not had any work since we've been here. Every single week has been solid, and we're now booked right through until about October before we could take on any new jobs.
Yeah, so the British people that say that there's no work in Spain, it's impossible to find work in Spain, you would say that's not true. You've got work up to the end of the year, no?
Well, I can tell you from my experience, I can't tell you from everybody's, but all I can say is we've found work. We have to work for it, but I mean, that's fine. I don't mind that because, you know, we were living in Spain. That's a dream, and I'm happy to work for my dreams. If you sit around in a bar and you expect somebody to come in and give you work, then no, it's not going to happen at all. But if you work for it, if you go out, if you look for it, if you ask around and you talk to people, then you will find there are things there. But you've got to be prepared, I think, at the start to drop your sights down a bit and maybe your expectations until you've got that reputation behind you. And then it will grow quite rapidly from there. But every client we talk to has always looking for somebody and has projects they want to do, but they struggle to find good trades to do it and good people to do it. We've also kind of looked at maybe what the things was that bothered them about other people here. I mean, the Spanish are lovely. We've got great Spanish friends here now. But we kind of looked at what do they do that annoy the Brits, and things like sometimes it's the attitude to timekeeping, turning up on time, communications. You know, when they get on the job, a lot of the Spanish trades are brilliant, but they're terrible at letting the people know what's happening and things like that. So we always made a point from day one, kind of distinguish ourselves a little bit, you know, let people know what's happening, confirm things in writing, send messages, emails, whatever, just to say this is the date we're starting, this is what we're doing, put prices down, speak to people all the time. If you're going to get materials or you're running late, phone them and say, you know what, guys, we're going to be 10 o'clock tomorrow, not 8 o'clock, because we're picking up materials. And then they know what's happening and they're not disappointed. And I think, you know, a lot of customers have said to us, that's the thing that got me most, is I didn't know what was going on and I was frustrated because I'm doing my stay at home, can I go out, or this kind of thing. So communications is a big thing. We've been really working hard at making sure that we let people know what's happening. And that's definitely helped us for sure, 100%.
I think that's we spoke about this the other day, and you're right. And I did exactly the same thing. When I was running late for a job or to go and do it, I used to phone the customer and say, look, I'm running 5 minutes late, I'm on my way with you. And they say, yeah, that's fine, no problem. But I know it's a big deal for people. I know what it's like for me when I'm waiting for Spanish people and they say, I'll be there later this afternoon. They don't turn up and you phone them and say, oh, mañana, you know. And that really is annoying when you lose a half a day waiting for something. I always say to even the people that work for me now, the plumbers and electricians, I say, you know, when you're coming, we'll come tomorrow. Give me a time. Give me a time, more or less. You know, I know it's hard to pin these people down to an exact time, but if you're going to be late, tell me, yeah, fine. You know, and it gradually I've been working with over the years. Now they do phone me and say, don't worry, I'm coming. Okay, that's all I want to know. You're on your way, you know. But it makes sense in any business. The customer needs to be informed all the time. And a lot of people, they do say, yeah, don't worry, you know, lay back lifestyle. But it makes a big difference when you're working here, getting repeat work. You found that out. I know that from experience.
100%, definitely, yeah. Because, like you say, there's always ways around it. Even if you don't know exactly what time you're going to be there, what I tend to do is say to people, we're going to be working in, I know, Chatterville at the moment, but we're going to be with you roughly about then. But what I can do is I can message you when we leave. Is that all right? And they're like, oh, that's brilliant. I'll just wait for the message. I've got half an hour's notice. I know what I'm doing. And then people can do their own day. They can go out shopping. They can go out, you know, to the bar, whatever. And then they know when you're going to be there and when they're not. And they're not sitting there waiting and thinking, well, my day's now ruined because I could have gone out this morning, but now I can't. So it's the basics. It's old-fashioned basics, but they really do make a difference, I think. And it's not just my industry or yours as well. It's anybody's. The same principles apply to it. and people like that. They like to know what's happening, and that makes a big difference to us as well.
So,
and other than that, it's just keep it simple.
So, So Ian, you got work up to the end of the year, and that, what do you say? What do you say to people that when they say it's hard to find work in Spain? You obviously it depends what you're looking for, but I mean, people here, they're not prepared to work for less money. I'm sure you, like myself, when you first moved here, the wages are a lot different when you first start out. You have to take a cut in wages, but the cost of living is a lot cheaper.
Exactly. The bottom line is what counts.
Things are easy and cheap here. So, if you start out low, you can build up. If you start charging stupid prices like you charge in the UK, you're not going to, the people here aren't going to pay it. The British won't pay it, and the Spanish certainly won't pay it. So did you find that you were starting off by charging a lot less when you first came here?
We charged less than we did in the UK, but what we did was we researched around locally what the average price people were paying for work in the first place. So, we looked into it and said, right, well, what do cleaners work? What does a gardener earn per hour? What's the average handyman price per hour? What's the fully qualified trade per hour? And then we looked at things that way and then, basically spoke to the client about it. Some jobs we took on, we said, look, we'll give you a fixed price for the job. And if it takes 4 days, takes 5 days, 6 days, it's my price. I've given you a price for it, and that's what we'll do. And then people are happy with that because they know it's not going to shoot up and end up a lot more than they think. And other times you can say to me, look, well, if you want me to come along, I can come along and work for you for 15 euros an hour, and until you want me to stop, and I'll do as much as I can in that time, basically. But you're right, you do have to drop a little bit. But like you say, the cost of living is a lot lower. It takes a little bit of finding sometimes when you first get here. If you go to all the places and you try and do the kind of British lifestyle in here, it can be expensive. But once you start, eating where the Spanish eat, buy Spanish food, shop in the good places and things like that, you're running your day-to-day costs. They just come tumbling down, and you just start enjoying yourself here more as well. But yeah, when you're new, you can't go in at the top-rated price and expect to get tons of business when people have got other trades that have been here for 15 years who are charging €3 an hour less than you. You just got to be realistic about it. Some things are tricky, like buying machinery and tools and things that can be more expensive here than buying them in the UK. But I brought a load of my stuff with me, so we're able to get a running start at things from that point of view as well. But
sure. So Ian, you're self-employed, and that's how I started out here, self-employed. But so many people, say that it's so expensive. It's around €300 a month now to be self-employed here in Spain. There is a package where you can start out at €70 a month now for the first year, I believe, and then €120 a month for the second and third year, and then it goes up to the full amount. But what some people don't realise is once you're paying self-employed, you and your spouse or other half and any dependents, any children that live with you in the family are all entitled to medical cover here, and that is such a big thing in Spain. I know people that are paying their private health cover, and they're paying $1,000, $1,800. A year each person from medical cover here, and with part of the restrictions now we're just finding a new requirement, you need to show that you're paying up front a year in advance with your medical cover, so that can be a big expense. But $300 a month, it sounds expensive, and it is expensive to run a business here, but when you think about what that's covering, and also that some people don't realise is after you've paid into it for 15 years, you're entitled to a pension. Now what that's worth, I don't know at the end of 15 years, maybe not worth, but what pension is worth its money after you retirement?
But I think it also
you get a pension into that. You're here. You're also working here legally. You've got all the paperwork. You've got no worries. Okay, you've got accountant's fees on top of that, but you can offset your accountant's fees and your autonomo. You can claim. When I first came here, I claimed for my van. I claimed for my petrol, everything I bought, my shoes, my clothes. I put it down as work expenses. My accountant says to me, "Put down everything. I'll tell you what you can and can't get away with." I put down dog food and my dog, and he said, "You can't put that in." I said, "He's a guard dog. He's a guard dog for my dog." You know what? I've claimed I've got half of my expenses for my dog. And not only have I with me once for the dog, but it was couple, So you can try anything. Even when I went out sometimes for dinners with friends, I've got that as entertaining customers. And you can just try it all. So you can offset all these things against your autonomy. But what really gets to me is people that come here and they work for cashback handlers, a lot less of it now. It's harder, there's restrictions. But the people like yourself and I that are doing it properly, trying to compete with people who are doing it backhand, now it's a more of an even playing field. That's the right way to go, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this. Do it properly in Spain. It's not worth the risk. If you're setting up to work here, go autonomous. It's expensive to a point, but it's well worth it. You sleep at night.
Well, I 100% agree with you, David. I mean, especially as somebody who is autonomous registered, you do think, well, if I'm going to do it and I'm going to pay for it, then it isn't fair when other guys come along and go, well, I just work for cash. I only work in the black, as they call it over here. And you don't get paid cash and that's it. Otherwise, they're not interested in doing the job. And it does go on, and you do come across it pretty much daily sometimes. And it is frustrating. But at the end of the day, like you say, from our point of view, it's a scaled increase. Our accountancy fees are not great. I think we're about 50 euros a month is a set fee we pay every month. And that's including all our returns, the renter and everything else as well. And I'm happy with that. You know, it's a lot cheaper than it was in the UK for an accountant to do all our books and things on it for us. The monthly rate, the cost does go up after 3 years, but 3 years is, you know, it gives you a good chance to get started as well, and build up to the level where you are getting enough income to cover the cost.
The way I look at it,
it would be nice if it was a bit lower, but you know,
they're talking.
Sorry, just saying, it would be nice.
Go on.
They talked about it for a long time, I think.
I spoke to my ex-accountant, and he said that the Spanish government are in talks about trying to reduce it to encourage more people, and it makes sense really. But you know, the tax here in Spain, the Spanish are pretty greedy. They want to try and get as much as they can out of it, but just stopping people from doing it.
Yeah, but then you know, the house tax is lower.
But it's coming. It's coming. It's going to be.
Yeah, we looked at it at the start, and when you add the cost of the life insurance or the health insurance, there's a huge difference into the health insurance side of it. I mean, I'm nearly 50, so I'm not silly in the rates. But when you add the two together of both of us, and then my daughter who's coming over Spain as well, she's 18, so it's 3 people. When you look at the health charges for health insurance compared to the autonomo fees, it doesn't make sense. It's cheaper to be self-employed for me than to not. And it's legal, and I'm insured as well. It gives me public liability
if your
insurance.
Daughter's coming over to live with you, when your daughter comes and lives with you, if she's living in your same house, she's going to be covered with you. You pay no extra for her to be covered for your health.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is something people need to remember. So really, you've got 3 people, you're paying one autonomous, but 3 people are covered to medical expenses. And I'm sure working in the industry you're working in, I've had to go to the hospital a couple of times. I cut my hand once with a tile, things like that, you know, and I even had to go to hospital to have a splinter removed. It was a big splinter. I couldn't get it out. I went to hospital, walked straight in. It's no problem, you know. If you're not properly registered in that, you're going to be worried about it, you know. It's not worth the hassle.
Yeah. Well, with all the current side of things with COVID going on as well, it's the jabs. You know, we've got the app. We put our SIP card details in the app, and it gives us the appointment for the COVID jab as well. Whereas you hear so many people saying, well, I'm in Spain and I've got residence here, but I'm on private health insurance. And how do I get the jab and this kind of thing as well? And they're having to go and get temporary SIP cards in order to get on the list to get issued the jab as well. So, you know, it does make things simpler from that point of view. I mean, being on the system, being legitimate and being correct, it was a no-brainer for me. I'll be honest with you. It was an absolute no-brainer just to do it properly. We've just got the last bit ticked in our box now. We've got our Spanish driving licenses a couple of days ago, and that's the last bit ticked now. So we're all completely legal, have a TAEs, have a full residencia, and have our driving licenses and everything now as well. So everything administration-wise is completely done. And it is, you know, the administration side can be a bit of a chore. I'll be honest with you. There's so much red tape, different opinions sometimes, but everybody we've met in any one of the town halls or anything else has always been super helpful, super nice, even when they've borne the brunt of my really basic Spanish that I'm trying to put onto them as well. They've been super helpful down the line. And I wouldn't knock absolutely any of them, you know. So none of the process has been excessively painful. It's just a question of research, do your research, ask questions, get on the forums with the other people in the local area who have experienced where things are. There's always people asking questions. We always put the answers up wherever we can do on the local pages. And that networking really helps you kind of settle in and get to know people better and get to know where to go for things as well. And that helps with the cost of living, because You know, somebody asks a question, where's the best place to go and buy, you know, pool materials? And somebody comes up with this little store that you've never heard of before. You go there and the price is half of what you pay in some of the big stores. And It's more you get into those little communities, that's where you really start to find how cheap it can be to live here. I mean, rent is tiny here compared to back in the UK. I know somebody living locally to me who rents a 3-bedroom house with a pool and pays €500 a month for it. You know, that's unbelievable prices for what you're actually getting. Your value for money, your bang for the buck is unbelievable. You know, so I think we've never regretted once moving here, ever since we've been here. And certainly work-wise, we had worries. I don't get me wrong. When we move to a different country and you don't 100% speak the language and you're starting from scratch, it is a financial risk. There's no question of it. But I can absolutely honestly say to you that we have gone forward and forward and forward with the business since we've been here. And we're in a better position now financially than we were before we came here. So it's an absolute win-win for us and for other people I know in the area as well. It's not just me. I know other guys, and both in trades industries like me, and also things like from Spanish teachers, hairdressers, all sorts of people that are working here in the area who are flat out busy every week.
Yeah, so it's like I've said to many people that contact me, you know, well, I find working, so I say, well, what do you do? Well, I'll do anything. Well, that always rings alarm bells for me, because if you don't know what you're going to do, you're open for anything, you know, you're going to struggle. If you're going to struggle in the UK, you're definitely going to struggle in Spain. So if you don't know, there's a guy that was working in an office in the UK, and he said, well, I don't know how to speak Spanish very well, so find him work in the UK. So he retrained. He learned computer programming. He went on a couple of months course, basic, very basic. Started learning Spanish, came here, and he got a job for a magazine publisher here, an English magazine, doing basic page, I don't know, something like HTML paperwork and he's learning Spanish as he goes. Working for a very small amount of money, but he retrained. It was his dream to come in, so he retrained. He realised that he couldn't find work doing what he was doing in the UK, so he retrained to make his dream happen. And as I say to many people before, you know, nothing's easy in life. With Brexit, the virus, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be reasons why you can't come here. When people say, "Oh, it's impossible now because it is impossible because of that," you're so lucky. You know, it makes me angry sometimes when people say to me, "You're so lucky you live in your house." I said, it wasn't luck that bought my house. It wasn't luck that paid the 10,500 bricks and mixed the cement up in the rain and the wind and that. You know, it was me that done it. It was me that got out of my comfort zone. It was me that took the risk. He went to the bank, begged for a mortgage to make it happen, and now I'm living in my dream house. And as you were saying, you know, a lot of people don't. They want it. It's a wish. It's not a dream. And to make your dream come true, especially in Spain, you've got to really want it, and you've got to make sacrifices. And another story that proves that it works. And a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed another member here who's a tree surgeon in Madrid, doing really well. He loves it. He's learning Spanish as he goes. And he said, I would never go back to the UK. He's struggling with the heat a bit now in Madrid, but he said, I'd rather struggle with the heat than with the wind and the rain running down my neck. So, you know, it's getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm sure you've made sacrifices and struggled to get here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, nothing's ever easy. If it'd be easy, it wouldn't work.
Well, you know, that's right, exactly. Yeah. So, Ian, what is your apart from learning Spanish, because I always say to people that is going to help you more than you know, and I'm sure you're finding that as well. You need to learn Spanish, especially when you're ordering materials. But apart from learning Spanish, what would you say to people that are thinking of moving here? What is the best thing they need to do? Learn Spanish now, do more research, concentrate on the area, or what advice would you give to somebody thinking of moving to Spain at the moment?
Well, I would say the first thing is research what you're looking to try and do, and research where you're looking to try and do it. Join a lot of the local Facebook groups in those particular areas. You'll find that pretty much any area you go to will have a Facebook group under the name of the town or the city or the area or something. Join one, and then quite often there's links to other ones. Ask people online, I'm looking to move to the area, is there any groups to join in? When you're on the Facebook groups, it's a great way to then ask around and saying, you know, I'm a photographer, for example, and I'm thinking of moving to the area. Is there any other photographers working here at the moment? If they are, what kind of work are they doing? Can I get their name and can I speak to them? And you ask the questions, and you can say to them, well, what are you doing? What kind of work you're doing? Are you looking for anybody to come and work with you? Is there a market for other people? Obviously you don't want to start saying, can I, in effect, can I come and take your business from you? But you can get feelings from them as to what the story's like and what the situation's like over here. Learning the language. I mean, I know you mentioned it. It is an absolute thing to do. We worked hard at it, and we can now hold conversations in Spanish. And my vocabulary is very much based around my industry. So it's not your kind of average textbook Spanish, but it makes such a difference. And the local people really appreciate it when you try and talk to them in Spanish, rather than sort of pointing and shouting and doing a British kind of thing. So that is important. But research and talking to people locally, that's the biggest thing I would try and do. And take, some of it with a pinch of salt, because there will always be some people who are negative no matter what you think. And you can say to them, I'm thinking of moving to the area, blah, blah, blah. And there'll always be somebody who goes, no, I wouldn't do it. I'm thinking of moving because I don't like it, because I can't get HP sauce and because I can't buy Marmite and this kind of stuff. And you do think it's not what I'm here for. It's not what I'm asking for. But those groups are really handy for getting to know areas and things as well. And if you put a post on there saying, look, I'm coming over for a viewing trip, does anybody fancy meeting up for coffee and help me talk about the areas? You get inundated with people saying, yeah, no problem at all. Because there's obviously people like me who work, but there's also a big chunk of people who live in these areas who have retired here. And they could be young retired as well. There's a few of who we know who are mid-50s, who have ex-forces, ex-police, this kind of thing. And they've got really good pensions and they've come out here to retire. So you're not, a leper if you work by any means, but there is a big community of retired people. And they will more than happily spend time, tell you about the place, tell you what's working, tell you what's not. Gossip basically sometimes, but it's a great way to get to know an area and to find out opportunities. The other thing I would say is have some clear ideas in your mind as to what you want to try and do when you get here. Some people look at it two ways. I think they can say, well, my trade has been for 20 years to do this, so I want to do the same. And other people say, well, you know what, my hobby that I've loved doing but has always been a hobby is this, and I want to take that hobby further. I mentioned photography a minute ago. There's somebody we know who has come over here, completely different industry, and photography was his hobby, and he's now making a great living by doing photography classes, taking people out, walking around the areas, doing explorations, teaching people how to use cameras and things. And that all started purely because his hobby was photography, not his business, not his history, his background, his CV, but his hobby. And he loves it, because all he's doing now, he's doing what he loves doing. So don't be closed-minded and think, well, I've been in marketing for 25 years, I've got to do marketing. It doesn't. If your hobby is flower arranging, maybe consider that as well, but do something you like doing. Otherwise you just don't enjoy it.
Exactly. And as we chatted the other day, and you contacted me and said, you've had plumbers, electricians saying that it's your job to cut in the cables and run the trunking and stuff. That is just normal in Spain, and it's not normal in the UK. And I said, yeah, welcome to Spain. You have to do all that yourself here. So you learn things from people that,
Yeah, you ask the question. Don't ask the question, you won't know the answer.
Things like that. So this is it. And so joining groups like our group, our Facebook group, is where members, if they're doing well, if people are here and they love it here, and most of the people do, they're happy to help you, and they're happy to answer your questions and tell you the exact cost of things and what it's like, because they want others to enjoy that lifestyle as well. So it's great to join these groups and seek them out, as you say. But yeah, doing the research, joining the groups and stuff like that. And that's why basically I set up this group and the blog and the Facebook page and the podcast show to give people information, because 18 years ago when I was looking, there wasn't all this stuff out there. There wasn't the social media and that around to do that. And, it was the same amount of risk for me doing it then as it is for people doing it now, and the requirements, because it just there wasn't that, well, there was people doing it, but it was difficult to find these people who did it. Now it's easy, just a couple of clicks and you can find the area, the people, the groups, and you can email and contact them or have chats like this.
And you can do all that from the UK. You don't have to be here to start the process off as well.
I spoke to someone the other day. That's doing virtual video tours of properties here, and people are viewing, and he said, I'm inundated, taking people round, taking groups of people through Zoom or whatever it was he was doing, showing them around, and people saying, open that cupboard, open that door, what's behind there? They're getting to see inside the cupboards and everything of the house. He said, we don't even have to come out of an apartment in the UK. We know what the place is like. So there's always solutions to the problems if people look. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've got to look for opportunities, and then you've got to take them.
I love people that are doing. Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of a delay on the time here, but it's great to meet with people that are living their dream. But it's not easy, as you said earlier. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But there is work in Spain. You're another case that's proven it. There is work, and you and your wife have found work here, and you're paying your autonomy. You're doing things correctly, and you're loving the life in Spain. Or I'm sure you're loving the life.
Absolutely, 100%.
You're working in a t-shirt, whereas in the back home in the UK at the moment, they've got umbrellas up, I believe.
Yeah. Quite often the t-shirt's not on, but I wasn't going to put that on the podcast.
I've changed from taking gloves and a hat to work in the UK to carrying litres of bottles of water and suntan cream in. Yeah, that's part of the toolkit now.
Yeah, well, my next job is putting a solar panel on the roof of the van so that I can power a fridge during the day, so I can have a fridge in the back of the van working constantly. So that's my next little project to do. Yeah. But yeah, it's brilliant. Oh, we absolutely love it.
Right, so just before we go in, you would say definitely go for your dream. You would recommend, even now, post-Brexit and with all the virus and everything, if people are thinking about moving here, you would still say go for it, don't wait. Is that correct?
You get one shot at life, and if you've got a dream, why would you not do it because it might be hard to do? Just bloody do it. It's, Nike, isn't it? Just do it. That's my view on it. We could have waited till we were 65 and got a retirement and everything and then tried to buy a house in Spain. But, you could get knocked over by a bus that day. We want to enjoy it now and live here. And so we did it. And the best advice I can give is just do it. Get on with it. Stop arguing about why you can't do it and start thinking about how you can do it. That's the honest answer.
Right. That's true. That's so true. Well, great, Ian. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for joining us. And I hope we've helped to encourage other people that are on the fence or still thinking about it. There is time post-Brexit, even with the virus. You might have to wait a few weeks to get here if you're in the middle of moving here, but things are opening up and things are starting to look good for the future. So thanks for your tips and advice. I'm sure it's helped to encourage others. And good luck, and post some photos in the Facebook group of whereabouts you are in Spain. I'm sure people will be interested to connect with you and look at some of the areas that you're working in at the moment.
Sure, we're absolutely happy to. And I much appreciate the chat. So to have a chat as well, David, and to be fair, the help you've given me over the last couple of years and the Facebook page as well has been great. My wife loves it as well. She's always saying, "Oh, there's an article on there. You got to look at that on Expats in Spain." So we appreciate all the work that you guys do as well, because I know it isn't easy sometimes, but it is appreciated.
Brilliant, great. Thanks very much, Ian, and all the best here.
All right, okay.
Soon. Cheers.
Thanks, David. Cheers. Bye now.
If you have enjoyed this podcast by David Wright, then you will love his new books. Out now on Amazon and Kindle, packed with money-saving tips and information on living and working in Spain. Just go to livinginspainbooks.com. David also has a popular blog for expats in Spain. Come and take a look now at Britishexpatsinspain.com.